Welcome back to the show. You know, so often when you're in that home search, you find a neighborhood you love, a house that you love, but something in the house isn't quite right, and you think, by gracious, if I could buy this home and renovate this home all in the same loan, I would be in my dream home. Thankfully, there are ways to do that, the renovation loan process, and it is dependent on having a great consultant and a great builder. Thankfully, we've got Michael Munn with us here today from Homecore Builders. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks, Wally. Good to see you.
So the renovation loan product, we've had folks on with us here before talking on the lending side, but I really wanted to get some insight from the contractor side / consultant side.
Sure.
Why is it so important that when you're choosing a renovation contractor for a renovation loan program, that they are experienced in the program?
Absolutely, because it's different than just doing a little one-off project. First of all, the timing of getting the estimate and the scope of work established is very much compressed. You know, we've got closing dates, we've got other things that we're tracking against. So you have to have somebody that knows their numbers and has experience, especially in the type of home that you're doing. If we're doing a historical reno in Springfield, things are different than a 1987 home built in Mandarin, you know, and so you have to have in your back pocket the numbers and the scope and know what's behind the walls or what you're dealing with and be able to turn around and communicate that in a scope of work document that meets the renovation loan requirements. It's not just, you can't have a scribble scrabble piece of yellow paper that, you know, that has a number on the bottom. There are formats that have to be followed. And so somebody that's worked in the program before has to walk in the door with that expectation. And not for nothing, you got to have financial stability. That's the biggest thing, because you don't get any money till you do some work, right? It's not write me a check and then I'll come work. It's I'm going to come work and then get a check. So you have to have a company that's financially stable to produce some work before getting paid, and that can also manage the volume of it.
Right. So often builders get involved. The program looks exciting, it looks lucrative, and they don't understand how the money flows.
Correct.
They don't understand the money formatics,
right,
how to get those specs and all written, and it is very, very frustrating. And who loses is the customer. Talk to me about the relationship between the renovation contractor and the renovation consultant and why that's got to work seamlessly to support the customer.
It really does. And of course, we wear both of those hats. There are some situations where the client or the lender will come to us to be the consultant and there's already a contractor established. And in that situation, we have a great rapport because they understand that we are their peers. We can speak in their language, and we actually help. You know, at the end of the day, we want the project to finish successful. So it makes no sense to set the contractor up for failure.
Right.
As the consultant, if we see something that he may not have identified yet, we're going to say, hey, what about this? When you open this up, you're going to find that. Let's account for that in our scope of work and in our budget so that we're not being surprised later. And we have to be able to have that give and take in a three-way conversation, because it's you're trying to describe something that's happening in the future in writing before you have plans, before you have, you know, a fully crystallized scope. And so everybody has to understand in the beginning, it really is a team between the consultant, contractor, and the home buyer have got to be on the same page and stay on the same page. And that's the challenge. So whether we're the contractor working with that consultant, he helps set those expectations with the buyer, but then vice versa. When we're the consultant, we want to make sure that everybody's happy at the end of the day. Contractor's finished in a timely fashion, made a few dollars, homeowner got what they expected, project's finished, and of course the lender's happy now too, because now they're getting mortgage payments. You know?
And the lender needs to be familiar with the program also.
Right.
I've watched lenders, wonderful lenders, not familiar with renovation loan programs, and it becomes a nightmare.
Right. It's important to work with somebody who specializes in that product, and you'd be surprised some of the big name banks are not the ones that are the best at it.
Right.
It is a different kind of a vehicle, and we get partway through it, and if that front side paperwork and documentation hasn't happened right, the lenders even throw up their hands, and they really are the fourth partner in the property. You know, they have to be happy too that at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, their assets are protected. You know, and so. Right.
What is the best way to get a hold of you, Michael, for people who'd like to learn more?
Check out our website. We kind of really just launched a new one, homecorebuilders.com, HOMECORE builders.com, and you can reach out to us from there, and we'd love to take care of you as a consultant or as a contractor.
Excellent. It's important to remember when you're involved in a renovation project, particularly if it's related to purchase, that the lender, the consultant, and the contractor are all familiar and ideally have a great working relationship together. We'll be right back.